to the Geeky Girls Knit podcast. I'm Cece, also known as Java Pearl.
I'm Damaris, also known as Damaris Dash, a bit weird.
And we're glad to have you today. Today is Wednesday, January the 8th, 2014, and this is episode 71. Okay. I looked at it just before we started, and then I said to Damaris, I'll probably forget. That's why I was looking at her to see if I would forget. We're glad to have you today. We'd like to say a big welcome back to all of our returning viewers. We love you. You're awesome sauce. And a big hello. Welcome to any new viewers. Hope you enjoy the show. Thanks for giving us a shot. We've got quite a bit to talk about today. Sherlock. Lots of Sherlock. Don't worry, we'll put a spoiler warning. We have an update about the Ravelinics, and we have a possible giveaway at the end of the show. So stay tuned. Don't miss anything. Unless you need to fast forward through part of TV so that you don't get spoiled. But don't miss anything else. Because we have new prize for our cowl and all kinds of things. You just never know what's going to happen. Jazz hands. Okay. Well, we should probably get started. Here we go.
And now we're going to talk about what's on our needles.
So what's on your needles, Mare?
More like what's not on my needles.
What? They're empty.
Yes, I haven't started on them yet, mostly because I don't know how to cast on for socks.
Judy's Magic Cast On?
I don't know how to do that. Oh. You do it for me.
Oh, I thought you knew how to do it. Well, I can do it for you in just a minute. So tell us about what you're going to knit with this, then.
Socks.
And what this is.
This is yarn.
You're being a wee bit of an intelligent donkey. I say that in love. Please don't think I'm being mean to her. She knows I'm picking on her.
These needles.
Needles are what?
These are needles.
This is going to take us back to rudimentary teaching. These are needles. This is yarn.
These are size US 1.5, 2.5 millimeters, and this yarn is, okay, let's see if I can remember it all. Spunky Eclectic Superwash Wool and Nylon Fingering.
Wait, sock yarn.
Sock yarn.
In what colorway?
Poison.
So hold it closer so they can really see it. Oh, it's brighter than that. The green is like
neon.
And where did this lovely yarn come from?
The shelf.
Where did it come from before it was on the shelf?
You.
Yes, but who sent it to me?
The Knit Girls.
The Knit Girls.
I thought you wanted me to say you.
Oh. I won it in... Do you remember what?
No.
Was it my Stash Dash prize?
I don't know.
It might have been my Stash Dash prize from last year. But the purple I would have probably worn, but the green was just not something I would wear, so I gifted it to Damaris. So what socks are you going to knit with this?
Hermione's Everyday Socks.
But you're going to convert it and do it toe-up.
Yes.
So you're going to use our regular toe-up sock pattern and just do the pattern from Hermione's.
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I only have, well, actually one thing on the needles, but I have my spinning too. So I am working on my True Love socks, which is a pattern by, we forgot to say Hermione's Everyday Socks is by Erica Luder.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the True Love sock pattern by Chrissy Gardner. I'm also on US 1.5, 2.5 mil. And I am using Windy Happy in the Mars colorway. And I am getting close to being done with sock 1. So can you see the hearts up the front there? And then there's also a cable pattern on the back of the leg. So I have done 5 repeats of the heart pattern, and I'm going to do one more repeat of the heart pattern before I do the cuff. And I did the OMG heel by Is it Megan from the Stockinette Zombies? I think it is. I'll look. But just search OMG Heel on Ravelry. And it was relatively easy to do. I'll be interested to see how it wears. So, I'm getting close to being done with sock number 1. And then I have just my spinning. I'm still working on the same bat from Hilltop Cloud. It's a merino British Shetland bat, and it was 35 grams. So I've done almost half of it probably. And I will 2-ply it. And I should have kept this down here. This is my last spinning project that I did, and it's got this same burgundy in it. So I probably am going to 2-ply this, just like this, and then do some kind of hat out of them. Because this one only ended up being 82 yards, so hopefully I'll get enough that I could stripe them and make myself another hat, because I love hats. Yeah. And that's everything that's on my needle and spindle. We have a lot of FOs though, so we probably should move on. Here we go.
Now we're going to talk about our finished objects.
So what did you finish this week?
A baby hat that still needs the ends woven in.
Hold it a little closer so they can see. So what is the pattern?
The pattern is Rialto Baby Beanie by Haley Waxberg. And the needles...
US 4 is 3.5 mil.
Yes, and the yarn is Jenny Howe's hand-spun yarn in a multicolored colorway.
So you'll weave in this end and then tie a knot in the top. You've done this hat before. Mm-hmm. So who is this lovely hat for?
Baby Stormageddon.
Baby Stormageddon. That's not really his name. He doesn't have an official name yet. So I also finished knitting for Baby Stormageddon this week. I did some more washcloths for him. This is for the baby son of some really good friends of ours who are Doctor Who fans, and so that I did actually it's right behind Emerson's shoulder there. The Doctor Who 4th Doctor scarf inspired sweater and hat, and I did TARDIS buttons on the sweater, and then I had finished a few washcloths, and I finished the rest of the washcloths for him. So these are all patterns by the same lady on Ravelry, Holy Narf. Her name is Lindsay, and she has numerous Doctor Who washcloths, and I did all of them on US 5's 3.75 millimeter. So here's the first one I finished. This is the Cyberman, and it's done in Hayfield Bonus Chunky in the Sunflower colorway. It's much brighter than it's showing on the screen. The next one I finished is the Bow Ties Are Cool, and this is done in the Robin Chunky in the Claret colorway. And then the next one is, oh, sorry, I hope I didn't just bang the camera, is Don't Blink. And this one is done in Stylecraft Life Chunky in the olive colorway. And then this last one, I haven't clipped the ends yet because it's still wet. It's been drying. I just finished it yesterday. This is the I Heart Heart DW, you know, because the Doctor has 2 hearts. And it's in Hayfield Bonus Chunky in the aubergine colorway. So that's the 7th washcloth. So I am done knitting for Stormageddon. And Damaris finished her hat and just needs to weave in the ends. So as soon as these dry, we will get them boxed up and ready to put in the post so that they get there before baby Stormageddon is born. The other thing I finished this week is actually here on my head. This is the Garter Stitch Headband by Caranda Berry, and I did it on US 6 4mm needles, and this is what was left out of my Adria Fill Knit Call in the fantasy novel colorway. And it's a really wide headband, you can see. And then here on the top, you do a small piece and wrap it around so it has a little bit of gathers, and then I just put a button on the top. If you look on my project page or if you looked on Instagram, I have better pictures of it. But it was really fast, and I love all the colors. I can wear it with tons of stuff because it's got so many colors in it. And that was the third project that I got out of 100 grams of this yarn. I bought two 50-gram balls, and I still have probably like around 3 grams left, so it'll probably be used like for a stripe, some striping in a preemie hat or something. So that's it. That's what we finished this week. So I think we're ready for the next segment. And now it's time for my favorite part of our show, Yummies. What are Yummies?
Yummies are our current favorite things, things that we like, things that we want to talk to you about.
Yummies. We don't have very many Yummies this week.
Nope.
But some of our Yummies are in TV. So we'll talk about those next segment. So I got a package in the mail this week from Eileen, who is Wisconsin Knitter on Ravelry. And she sent me a belated Christmas gift. She sent me this cute Wisconsin postcard. They're Guernsey cows? Is that how you say it? Guernsey? I don't know. They're cute. I'll put it with my postcard collection. And she sent me one of their Christmas photo cards. I'm covering up their last name. And then she sent me a dishcloth in lovely colors, brown and pink and burgundy, with a matching spoon. It's pink. It's actually more kind of a burgundy pink. The Hubs has been wanting to steal it all week. He does most of our cooking, and he's very excited to use this spoon because it looks like a really good spoon. So, thank you so much, Eileen. We love this. You're awesome. So thank you so much for the gift. Okay, well, we watched a couple things this week that we're going to talk about in this segment.
Yes, we watched Star Wars, 2 of them, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
So now you have seen all 6 movies, and I have regained my title as a geeky mama, because I had failed before, because you had never seen them all. And there's a new one coming out next year. So what do you think?
I liked them.
Do you want cinnamon bun ear things over your ears that is your hair?
It's her hair.
I know, but they look like cinnamon buns.
Yes, that's what it's called. I don't know.
Any favorite parts?
I like Leia.
Yeah. I love when Yoda does the fight with the lightsaber and he jumps around.
Okay.
And should I tell them the funny that I read off the trivia?
Sure.
So, you know, we are kind of obsessed with IMDb. We look up stuff constantly and read the trivia on IMDb about stuff we watch and everything. And so I'm like scrolling through the trivia while we're watching the movies. And in one part it says that George Lucas told Jim Henson, George Lucas told, I can't remember who he told, somebody that was working with Yoda, the Yoda character, that Yoda was the illegitimate child of Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy because he jumps around so much in that fighting scene. And he looks like a frog to jump around. I thought it was quite humorous. Okay. I thought it was funny anyway. Okay. I guess we're already to GGK Crafty Pad. Were you making faces at me? GGK Crafty Pad. There are lots of people participating, and that makes us happy. So, if you have not participated before, it's never too late to join in. We have a list of prompts that we will put in right here in just a minute. But you can also look on the blog or on my Instagram, cc_almond, ALMON, for the prompts list. And each week
we pick one each of our photos that we liked and 3 photos from other people that we liked.
Yes. And we showed them to you here in the podcast, and we post them in the show notes. And I started making flipagram videos with them, and y'all seem to like that. Guess what music I used with this week's for Instagram?
I don't know.
Music from The Hobbit. I'll play it for you in a minute. I haven't posted it to Instagram yet. I love, though, that you can, like, choose music. They'll let you, like, use a little segment of music for free to put with it. So I just thought that was cool, so I picked it. So we will stop for a second here and put in the photos. Here they come. So those were our favorite photos. So jump in on the fun, post your pictures, and maybe you will be one of our featured photos. Photos/photographers in next week's episode. Scotland this week, it's wet. Wet and cold. But not as cold as it's been in the U.S. Because apparently the U.S. is like freezing to death. We're not. We're just cold. We went to our knitting group on Monday night. If you're in the area, we would love to meet you at the Town Mouse Knitting Club that meets on Monday nights in Edinburgh. And coming up on the 18th of January, we will be at the Edinburgh Guild of Weavers, Spinners, and Dyers. You're going to have to start spinning before that so you can spin at Guild.
I know how to spin. You go around in a circle. Like,
I meant with your spindle.
You what?
I meant with your spindle.
Oh, I thought you said I met with your spindle.
I did. I had a meeting with your spindle, and we talked, and we decided that you should start spinning it because it's feeling neglected.
It's feeling not dizzy.
It's feeling undizzy.
Undizzy. I don't think that's a word.
You have a puppy named Dizzy.
I do. It's purple. No, it's white.
It's white with purple and blue spots.
Yes.
A stuffed animal.
And it has a bow.
Yes. Her name is Dizzy. Okay, so you should start spinning before we go to Spinning Guild.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get right on that. Okay. Well, I think that's it, so we'll probably should, move on to our next segment here. Okay, here we go.
And now we're going to talk about what books we're reading and what TV we're watching.
So, what are you reading?
I'm reading Grounded by Heather Ordover.
And what do you think?
I'm liking it.
How far in are you?
I don't know. It won't tell me the percent, at least not on the front cover, because it's a PDF file.
Yeah. Do you know what chapter you're in? I can't remember how many chapters there were.
11?
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. There are,
More?
No, the next one has not come out yet, but hopefully it'll be out this year. But I was going to say, there are sock patterns available on Ravelry inspired by the different characters.
Oh.
So, that's kind of cool. All right. I finished reading Girl Meets God by Lauren Winner. So that was my first nonfiction book of the year, finished. Oh, I didn't put the other book in, the new nonfiction book that I started. Hold that thought. Because I know what part of the title is, but I don't know what the author's name is. play some hold music while I'm searching. There it is. I am reading Almost Amish, One Woman's Quest for a Slower, Simpler, More Sustainable Life by Nancy Sleeth. So that's my my second nonfiction. I was trying to combine second and fiction. Second nonfiction book of the year that I have started. Because you remember my goal was to read one a month. I also finished reading by Gail Carriger, Etiquette and Espionage and Curtsies and Conspiracies. I'm trying to combine words together. I finished reading both of those. They were really good. You would like those. And then I started reading, also by Gail Carriger, her Parasol Protectorate series. So I'm still in the first book called Soulless. So, you probably, I don't know if you would enjoy that. They're written adult, not young adult. The earlier ones were young adult ones. So, all right, now we're going to talk telly.
Hey, we watched some of Criminal Minds, season 3.
Yeah, we're getting near the end of season 3, aren't we? I can't see it, so we're going to turn it to a smidgen. She's got the show notes now. The Hubs and I finished watching Chuck. It was interesting kind of how it ended. I didn't see it coming that way it was going to end, but it did. And so the Hubs and I now have started watching Leverage Season 1. I was telling Damaris a while ago that last night, one of the episodes, they had to have fake identity, and so like the guy pulled out of his suit coat all the fake IDs he had, and he started listing them off, and they were all actors who had played the Doctor. It made me laugh. It made the Hubs laugh, too. We are still watching West Wing. We finished watching Season 3, and we have started Season 4.
I was scrolling.
Sorry, I was scrolling, too. Because we were going to wait and talk about Sherlock after we talked about all the other TV. Bum, 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 bum. Here we go. It's almost there. Okay, Elementary. You're going to talk about that.
2.12, The Diabolical Kind, Moriarty is back. And her hair was shorter, I think.
Yeah, I think it was.
I remembered that.
And the painting that she did of
Joan
was interesting. I wonder if there was...
What?
I was going to say, I wonder if there was any secret messages in it.
Yes, she's focused on solving Sherlock and Joan. Like, it's a sort of dance, like...
It's like Vogue.
I don't know what the Vogue thing is.
It's like this. Vogue.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And Sherlock kept Jamie's letters in a beehive.
Yes, he was hiding them from Joan.
And Jamie says that she'll be a free woman soon enough.
What is she up to?
And she has a daughter.
Yes. And I wondered at first if it was going to be Sherlock's daughter, but it wasn't. She confirmed that it was not Sherlock's daughter. Are you going to say when the next episode is?
Oh, yeah. The next is 2.13, All in the Family, on tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
Joan has a pretty dress in it. It's very pretty.
You are very obsessed with characters' outfits.
Yes, they're very pretty.
Yes. Okay, the Hubs and I watched the new episode of The Big Bang Theory. Oh, it was the cliffhanger because Penny proposed to Leonard. And he said no. Because she was distraught when she asked him. Because she filmed an episode of NCIS and she got cut out of it. And so she was distraught, thinking that her career was not what she wanted it to be. So what will happen? Okay, and then we also watched
Castle. It's back.
It's back.
6.11, Under Fire.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Fire.
Yes. Kevin Ryan and Esposito were trapped in a burning building.
Yes, in the
And
basement.
it was very emotional.
It was. I cried. A lot.
Okay, so Ryan and Jenny have a little baby now.
Yes.
And it's a little girl, and her name is Sarah Grace, after Jenny's grandmother.
But if it had been a boy...
His name would have been Javier.
Oh! That made me cry, too, after Esposito.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if Esposito and Lainey will get back together now after the near-death traumatic event. So, what's the next episode?
Something. 6.12 deep cover on the 13th.
That's next Monday, not Friday. Not Friday the 13th. Monday the 13th.
Okay.
Now we shall talk about Sherlock.
For about half an hour.
No, not for
Maybe.
half an hour. Because there's 2 episodes, because Series 3, Episode 1 premiered on New Year's Day, and then 5 days later, Series 3, Episode...
No, 4 days later.
4 days later, on Sunday, Series 3, Episode 2 premiered. So let's start with Episode 1.
Okay, 3.1. The Empty Hearse. It's the episode you've been waiting 2 years for.
Yes.
Everyone wonders how it will begin. Let's begin for some techno dance theories.
Yes, that was kind of funny.
This music was like techno dance music in the background of the first scene.
Yes.
And Anderson's first name is Philip.
And he's kind of off his rocker. I wonder if he's okay now.
I hope so.
Maybe he'll come back in the next episode. Maybe.
Okay. And he said, I believe in Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then John goes to visit Miss Hudson and looks up at 221B and he remembers all of their adventures.
There was feels. Lots and lots of feels. I cried a lot during this episode.
And then Sherlock decides that it would be funny to surprise John by coming
Back to life. Well, what else would you call it?
I mean, being a French waiter.
Yes, with a mustache.
Yes.
Because
and
mustaches are cool.
Yes.
Except for John's. John's not cool.
And he drew on this mustache with some eyeliner, and he had a French accent. It's like, and it sounded like Martin Ducref strikes again.
Which is a reference to Cabin Pressure, the radio dramedy.
Sure.
In case you don't know, which Benedict Cumberbatch is in. What was I going to say? And he decided to do this when John was about to propose to Mary.
Yes.
Sherlock.
Okay. And Amanda Abington, who is Martin Freeman's partner, is just amazing as Mary, and her hair is so cute. And
I think Damaris wants her hair now.
I do, but she's blonde, and I'm not.
And you're not dyeing your hair. You're not allowed to dye your hair until you're over 18. I wasn't allowed to do that either.
Okay, so while trying to propose to Mary, John says, I'm meeting you. Yeah, meeting you has been the best thing that could have possibly happened. And Mary says, I agree. And John says, what? And Mary says, I agree, I'm the best thing that could have happened to you.
They're good together.
Yeah. And then, Greg was hugging Sherlock.
Yes. Oh.
Yes, it looked like he was gonna punch him, but then he hugs him really tightly.
Oh, because he's back. Yeah, even though Sherlock cannot remember his name.
Gavin.
Gavin.
Graham. Okay, and the 3-word clue given by Stephen Moffat at Comic-Con 2012. I don't know, Comic-Con some year, he gave 3-word clues for each of the episodes, and the clue for this one was rat, and was derived from the giant rat of Sumatra.
Yes.
Which was not an actual home story, just mentioned in it.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then the Holmes brothers were playing Operation.
Oh my gosh.
It looked like they were playing chess, but I thought something was wrong about the scene, because the chessboard was in focus, but they weren't. And it was because the chessboard was in front of them, and they were actually playing Operation.
Crazy.
And then, Sherlock says, Molly. And she says, Yes. And he says, would you like to? And then they say this at the same time. Molly says, have dinner. And Sherlock says, solve crimes.
She still has a thing for him. Mm-hmm. Did you put in there about the conspiracy theory about he went through the window and kissed Molly before he left?
Oh, yeah. That was in the beginning.
Yeah.
In Anderson's theory. And then he kissed Molly. And then he walks up very dramatically.
Yeah.
But first he ruffles his hair.
Just ruffles it. Yeah, like that.
Okay. And then the Holmes parents were played by Benedict's parents, Timothy Carlton and Wanda Bentham.
That was so awesome.
And then John told Sherlock to use his mind palace.
Yes, that was brilliant.
Use your mind palace. And then almost at the end, what Sherlock is telling Anderson, how he survived.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people are thinking this is how he actually survived. It was the code was Lazarus. He sent it to Mycroft, which we're all pretty sure is a reference to one of the characters in Doctor Who Mark Gatiss has played, Professor Richard Lazarus, who came back to life.
What was that episode called? The Lazarus Experiment.
In Series 3.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool that there was a Doctor Who reference.
And then, Anderson starts crying because he almost distracted Sherlock from
solving...
trying to take down the terrorist.
Yes.
Thing.
Because he faked a crime scene and said it was Jack the Ripper's crime scene.
Yes, and so he grabbed onto him and started crying, and Sherlock's just like, what do I do? And so he pats him on the back.
It was funny.
And then John's like very angry with Sherlock because because Sherlock was saying he didn't know how to turn off the bomb, but he actually did.
And he turned it off.
And John was like, I am so gonna kill you. And Sherlock said, oh, please, killing me. That's so 2 years ago.
Because it's been 2 years. Yes.
Okay. And then at the end, anyway, time to go and be Sherlock Holmes. And he starts to walk out the door towards the press, but then he stops, and he walks back, and grabs a deerstalker. And then he walks out.
Yes.
Okay, but then at the end, the new villain, okay, he was revealed earlier, I don't remember when, sometime in the autumn, I think. Yeah. Charles Augustus Magnuson. Which
is not the name of the character from the book. It was
Charles Augustus Milverton.
So they've changed it a little bit.
Yes, and he was at the end
of episode 1.
Yes, and also on the TV in Anderson's flat, I think it's called a scrolling headline, the thing that scrolls at the bottom, it said, Magnuson summoned for parliamentary something. I couldn't read the next word. Okay. Sorry.
Then we have episode 2.
Episode 2, The Sign of 3. It was so happy and fun and just happy.
I didn't expect the wedding to be like right there in one of the first things they did, but they used it kind of as a storytelling element to like flash back to different things. So the whole episode was set at the wedding, but they kept flashing back to other things. Mm-hmm. So
okay, so at the beginning there was Donovan, and I thought I saw that she wouldn't be in this series, so that was nice.
Yes.
And then, okay, Sherlock composed a waltz for John and Mary's wedding, and he was making sure that it fit their first dance. And
so he was dancing in the flat. It was so sweet.
And then Sherlock was being so protective of Mary and John, like screening Mary's ex to see if he could be an usher.
And the little kid.
Archie, yes, he just latches on to Sherlock and he's just like...
It was so sweet.
He pats him on the head.
He has a thing with patting people. First the back, then the head.
And then Mary didn't like the wine that she had chosen, so she makes the face.
Which was a clue for the end of the episode, which I totally missed.
Okay, and then about outfits. Molly's outfit, she had this large hair bow.
Yellow.
It was really cute. And then Mary's wedding dress, was gorgeous.
It was a vintage dress.
Yes. Okay, and then Sherlock's talking on the phone with Mycroft, and Mycroft says, "Oh, by the way, Sherlock, do you remember Redbeard?" And Sherlock says, "I'm not a child anymore, Mycroft." And some people are thinking, like, maybe this is code or something.
I wonder if it's his imaginary friend from when he was little.
Because initially he wanted to be a pirate.
A pirate, so maybe Redbeard was his pirate imaginary friend.
Okay, and then Sherlock's reading the telegrams, which apparently is a British thing, because I had never heard of them at a wedding before.
Yeah, I hadn't either. I mean, I knew what telegrams were, but I hadn't heard about them at a wedding.
Okay, so Sherlock reading one, and it said, "Oodles of love and heaps of good wishes from Cam. Wish your family could have seen this." And people are thinking that CAM, C-A-M, is an abbreviation for Charles Augustus Milverton.
So there's a lot
Acronym,
of an
sorry.
acronym. So there's a lot of theories going about Mary knowing Cam and how she knows him. If it was like one of the theories is that he killed her family, because we don't know how her family just died. Another theory was like that he took her in and was like a foster parent or something and raised her.
Mary.
So we are very curious as to how Mary and Cam are related, but she made like a very odd face when Sherlock read that one, when she realized it was from Cam.
Okay, and then John is talking to Sherlock about a best man, and he says, "For my wedding, for me, I need a best man, preferably not a garroter," referencing something earlier in the conversation about a garroter. And then Sherlock says, Gavin Lestrade, and I couldn't remember exactly what all they said in this bit, but Sherlock's like, "Yeah, he's a nice man," and John's like, "Yeah, but he's not my best friend." And
says, his name is also not Gavin.
Yeah. And he says, "Oh, Mike Stanford, I see. Well, he's nice too, and and stuff." And John's like, "No, Mike's great, but he's not my best friend." And then it goes on for a little bit more, and John says, "And I want to be up there with the two people that I love and care about most in the world. Mary Morstan, and you." And then Sherlock, there's a long period of silence, and Sherlock's just staring at him. And then eventually, John's like, "Okay, that's getting kind of creepy." And Sherlock says, "I'm your best," and John says, "man," and Sherlock says, "friend." And then John says, "Yeah, of course you are. Of course you're my best friend."
So, but during the toast, he was like, Sherlock says all these things that he was like thinking, but couldn't say out loud.
Yes, he was like, "I was confused and honored and da-da-da-da-da."
It was so sweet.
But then it actually transpired that I had said none of this out loud.
Yes.
Okay, and then Sherlock's saying that he is a very rude person and that he never expected to be anyone's best friend, and certainly not the best friend of the bravest and kindest man who I've ever had the fortune to meet.
Oh, that was sweet.
And then John's just like to Mary, "If I try and hug him, stop me." And Mary says, "Certainly not."
Oh, Mary's so sweet.
Yes. And then in a flashback scene for planning for the wedding, Sherlock says to Mary, "Now, serviettes, Swan or Sydney Opera House." And Mary's like, "Where'd you learn how to do that?" And Sherlock's like, "Many unexpected talents required in the field of criminal investigation." And Mary's like, "You're fibbing, Sherlock. I'm not John. I can tell when you're lying." He's like, "Okay, I learned it on YouTube."
And then he did all the extra ones as
the
Sydney Opera House.
Yeah, Mary said she wanted the Sydney Opera House, and so then John and Mary went into the kitchen, and he made like 15 of them in a minute because she wanted the Opera House. And then drunk Sherlock and John.
Okay, calm down.
It was hilarious, though.
I don't know what you just said.
Drunk Sherlock and John.
Oh, drunk Sherlock and John, yeah, when they did his stag party, because Sherlock had figured out exactly how much alcohol they should drink in order not to get drunk, but then John was having shots and poured extra shots in Sherlock's drink.
Sherlock's like, "I no ash. And I just wrote lots of bits. And Sherlock says, I have an international reputation. Do you have an international reputation? And John says, no, I don't have an international reputation. Sherlock says, and I can't even remember what for. Crime or something. And then they're playing this game. They have sticky notes on their head.
Yeah.
And
they're trying to guess who they are.
Sherlock's was himself.
And John's was Madonna.
I don't know. Yes. And...
Oh, see, we totally made the Vogue thing work. Madonna.
And Sherlock's asking these questions like, am I tall? Am I nice? And am I human? And Sherlock's like, okay. Am I the current king of England? And John's saying, we, and he breaks into laughter. He's like, you know we don't have a king, right? And Sherlock's like, we don't? Like, no.
That's another one of those facts that he must have kicked out of his head because it wasn't important to remember.
And Sherlock says, John, wake up. The game is something. And John's like, on. Yeah, that. You alright? Yeah, he's cluing. What? He's cluing for looks.
Yes, cluing for looks.
And then all the drunk deductions. Chair, egg, city thing.
Thingamabob.
Death, skull, deaded. High-tech speaker thing. Yes. And then they got thrown into jail, and so Greg came to get them out, and John says, can you whisper? And Greg's like, not really! Yes. And then there was a cameo from Laura Pulver, who played Irene Adler in Sherlock's head. No, in his mind palace. She was in his mind palace.
Yes. And Mycroft was also in his mind palace.
Yes, for some reason.
Yes, that was kind of odd.
And then Sherlock's just trying to find stuff to say because there's a murder about to happen, and he's trying to find stuff to say. Just like, John's great too. I haven't gone on enough about John. I've barely scratched the surface. I could go on all night about the depth and complexity of his jumpers. And then Sherlock kisses Mary on the forehead.
That was sweet.
It was so sweet. But then he says, though in fairness, John's a drama queen too. And Mary says, yeah, I know. Because John called Sherlock a drama queen.
Yes.
Okay, and then during the dancing bit, after he played the waltz he composed for them, he said, so here in front of you all, my first and last vow. John...
Wait. Which... The next episode, Series 3, Episode 3, which is the final episode of Series 3, is called His Last Vow. So this has got to be a reference to it. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so he says, John and Mary, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said, whatever happens, I promise to be there for all three of you. And then he says, two of you, both of you actually, they're two of you. And then... because Mary's pregnant. There's going to be a little Watson baby.
I wonder if there will be some time lapse before episode 3, it's on Sunday. But some time lapse occur between the events of episode 2 and episode 3, and if we'll see the baby.
Okay. And then...
or if they're going to make us wait to series 4. They better not.
And Sherlock says, dance, both of you. Now, you can't just stand here. People are wondering what we're talking about. Because he just told them that he figured out that Mary was pregnant, and he hadn't meant to say that. And Mary says, what about you? You know, Sherlock doesn't have anyone to dance with, and she's very sad because she doesn't want him to be alone. But John says, we can't all three dance. There are limits. Like, yes, you can. You can all three dance. You can do that. It's gonna be a baby.
So, next week, actually not next week, just on Sunday in a few days, will be Series 3, Episode 3, His Last Vow, and this is when Charles Augustus
Charles Augustus Magnuson.
Yes. will be the primary thing. It appears like that. Anyway, from the trailer. It's probably a good thing that Sherlock is only on 3 times every, 2 years, because we talk a lot about it.
That's not a good thing.
I mean, for the podcast.
It's not a good thing at all.
So, alright. Well, let's move on to the next segment.
And now we're going to talk about our December-January Winter Wonderland Cal.
So it continues on. We are up to 99 entries now. That's pretty cool. It's not too late to join in. Your project could not have been started before December 1st, and it needs to be finished by January 31st. And any knitting, crocheting, spinning, weaving project counts as long as you can convince us it's winter related, whether by purpose, like a hat or gloves or a scarf, or by color, like red or green or blue or white or silver, or by pattern name or colorway name. So if you can convince us it's winter related, it counts. And we have not had a single one that we were not convinced by. So we have 2 prizes. The first prize is a Ravelry giftable pattern up to $7 that was donated by Linda M. Noble, who is Linda from our group. And the second, a brand new prize that we just got in the post today. This is from, I don't know if she pronounces her name Lee or Lay, Leigh. She is on Ravelry as Lulay. I'll put all this in the show notes. And she has an Etsy shop. And she donated this gorgeous project bag. It's got drawstrings on it, and it's got a nice little handle. And on the inside, it has an extra pocket. Oops, I'm trying to get the thing out of the way. So this would be perfect for like a pair of socks, or a hat, or any small project. But I love bags that have handles on them, because they're so much easier to carry around. So thank you so much for donating this prize. So you might be the lucky winner of this Winter Cowl prize, or the pattern. And we haven't decided if we're going to add another prize yet or not, but we'll have at least 2 prizes. But like I said, we are up to 99 entries. Do you want to say who has finished projects this week?
Sure. Elle McCall, who is Linda, Phoenix Fire, who is Tracy, Angie's Hip, who is Andrea, Crafty Mama, who is Kylie, Evil Twin 2 is Rebecca, and
I think it's Rue CMC.
Rue CMC, who is Anne.
So great job, y'all. Keep crafting and enter those projects into the Cal before January 31st, and we'll announce winners on the first podcast in February.
And now we're going to do Ask the Geeky Girls.
So we have a new question this week. If you want to ask a question, just go into our Ravelry group and look for the Ask the Geeky Girls thread and post your question there. So this week's question is from Sun Country, who is Izzy from Texas. Do you want to read the question?
Sure. I recently bought a skein of mink yarn just to feel it. It wasn't as soft as I thought. What's the strangest fiber that you have bought just for fun?
Well, I have not really bought any strange fiber that I can think of. I guess the most unique fiber that I've bought, is one that I actually just showed y'all last week. These are poonies from Ellie's Knit Insanity. And these are made out of baby camel and tussa silk. And they are a lot brighter in person. They are very soft, and they make really good mustaches. And they smell good. So I have not spun with these yet. I'm very much looking forward to spinning with these. But the camel is so soft. Yes?
Yes.
So other than that, I knit primarily with with wool or acrylic. I typically use acrylic for baby stuff because it's machine washable. But mainly I knit with wool, or some percentage of wool in whatever I'm knitting with. So, I'm sorry, we're not very strange. I mean, we are very strange, but we have not knit or spun with strange things. Are you eating it?
No.
We have mustaches. So you put on your mustache. So you need to make it like, turn up like this.
I don't want to inhale it.
Or you can have like a curly Q.
Okay. Here.
Or I can have like a double mustache. Or I can have a beard. There we go. Oh, so, sorry we don't have more answer to that question, Izzy. Sun Country. But that's our answer. So, we have more questions still on the board that we will get to as the weeks continue. And like we said, if you have a question you'd like us to answer, it can be about anything. It can be about knitting, spinning. It can be about Scotland. It can be about homeschooling. It can be about health. It can be about anything. We're pretty open books, so we'll answer pretty much anything. So just post it in the thread on the Ravelry group, and we'll get to your question eventually. All right, on to the next segment. And we've come to the end of the show, and we're very sad. Now my nose is all tickly because I have fiber in it. We're very sad. We're laughing and we're sad. We're very sad because we thought we were going to get to do a 300-member prize drawing. We are at 299 members. And we were like, fingers crossed, come on, somebody join, somebody join, somebody join. And we just refreshed it. I'm going to refresh it again because maybe somebody joined in the last 5 seconds. No! If you're not a member of the Ravelry group, go join. Because surely... Yeah,
I'm trying. I used to be able to do this.
I don't know if I can do it anymore. I can't do it really anymore. Go join the Ravelry group, because if we have 300 members next week, we will give away a prize. So, I'm so sad. I was so hoping somebody would join so that we could draw for a prize winner. No, it was still $2.99. Okay, so next week, if we're up to 300, we will draw for a prize winner. Somebody, you're entered just by being a member of the group. So, if you're not a member of our Ravelry group, go join so we can draw next week. Okay, we wanted to say announcement about the Ravelinix Team Geeky Girls Knit. The Ravelinix committee announced last night that the events list will be posted this Saturday. So as soon as we have that list, Damaris and I can finish putting together the details for our team, because we are going to do lots of prizes. So we want to make sure we have everything lined out before we announce it. So watch the Ravelry group on Sunday. Our Ravelry group. I don't know what the date of that is. I don't know. Whatever Sunday is.
14th?
Possibly. Whatever Sunday is, watch the Ravelry group, because we will be announcing all the details about Team Geeky Girls Knit for the Ravelinix, and then we will discuss it in detail.
No, it's the 12th.
The 12th. We will discuss it in detail on next week's podcast episode as well. But we will announce all the details on Sunday on the Ravelry group, and we'll start sign-ups so that if you want to join in on Team Geeky Girls Knit, you can. And then we'll talk about the details on the podcast next week as well. Any other announcements?
I don't think so.
Okay, so why don't you tell them where to find us online?
You can find us at geekygirlsknit.com. There are links to everywhere else.
We're not at
geekygirlsknit.blogspot.com. There are links to everywhere else. We are online: YouTube, iTunes, Blip, Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc.
Yes. And I think that's it. So thanks for watching, and we love hearing from y'all. So please feel free to post in the Ravelry group or anywhere else on the blog, on Facebook, wherever. Make sure and take your pictures for GTK Crafty Pad, and go join the Ravelry group if you haven't already, so we can have 300 members. I'm checking one more time before we sign off, because if there's 300 members, we're drawing. Curses, no! Okay, so go join the Ravelry group so we can draw next week. All right, y'all have a great rest of the week. Stay warm, especially y'all in the U.S. who are suffering with the, what's it called? Polar vortex or something? I'm glad I'm not there, because I'm cold enough here. Y'all have a great week. Stay warm. Happy knitting. And we will talk to y'all next week. Bye.